I Rakesh Jain from Gyanvihar University, Faculty of Electronics and Communication, Diploma in Engineering. Today I am going to teach you about how to draw the root locus in control system. So let's suppose we have a problem of root locus. Let the question is draw the root locus for GSHS is equal to K divided by S plus 4, S square plus 4S plus 20. So there are certain steps to find out the root locus. Now the step number first is we will find out how many poles and zeros in this question. So see the denominator of this question, the value of S in case of denominator will be your poles. So here S plus 4 and S square plus 4S plus 20 is there. It means S equal to 0 is my pole, S plus 4, so S equal to minus 4 is a pole. This is pole first, this is pole second. And now from S square plus 4S plus 20 equal to 0. So we will find out the pole with the help of an equation minus B plus minus root of B square minus 4AC upon 2A. So here minus B, so what is the constant with S? That is 4. So minus 4 plus minus root of 16 minus 4 multiplied by A is, what is the constant of S square? Nothing, so 1. Multiply by C, so what is the last constant? 20. Divided by 2 multiplied by A. A is, what is the constant with S square? Nothing, so 1. So S equal to minus 4 plus minus root of 16 minus 20 multiplied by 4, that is 80 divided by 2. So it will be equal to minus 4 plus minus, and what is this 60 minus 80, that is root of minus 64 divided by 2. It means minus 2 plus minus 4j. So there are two poles. One pole at S equal to minus 2 plus 4j. Let this is my pole third. And the last pole is S equal to minus 2 minus 4j. This is my pole 4. So how many number of total poles? Pole 1, pole 2, pole 3 and pole 4. So the total number of poles that we denote by P, that is equal to 4. Now we find out from the question how many total number of zeros. So see, in the question there is nothing in the numerator with S. No value of S is there. So it means total number of 0 is equal to 0. Because pole is greater than 0, it means there are 4 branches of root locus. And what is the value of pole? 4. So 4 branches of root locus. So here in step number first of any question of root locus, first of all we will find out how many number of poles, how many number of zeros. If pole are greater than 0, then the number of branches of root locus is equal to number of poles. If 0 is greater than pole, it means number of zeros if greater than number of poles, then number of branches of root locus is equal to number of zeros in the question. Here poles are 4 and zeros are 0. That's why 4 poles, so 4 branches of root locus. So step number first is completed. Now step number second. Here we find out the number of poles minus number of zeros. So how many number of poles? So see, in step number first we find out number of poles are 4. So 4 minus number of zeros are 0. So that is equal to 4. So it means the answer of pole minus 0, whatever the answer of this step number second, pole minus 0, among all the branches of root locus, the number of branches equal to pole minus 0 number of branches will terminate at infinitive. The rest of the branches will terminate at open loop 0. But here the total number of poles are total number of branches of root locus in step number first we find out 4 branches of root locus. And here also the answer of P minus Z is equal to 4. It means all the 4 branches will terminate at infinitive. So all the branches of root locus will terminate at infinity. Now step number third. We find out the angle of asymptote. Angle of asymptotes. How to find out the angle of asymptote? There is a simple method to find out step number 3 of any question of root locus, that is angle of asymptote. So there is a basic equation to find out the angle of asymptote. that is theta is equal to 2q plus 1 multiplied by 180 degree divided by number of poles minus number of zeros. So see how to find out the angle of asymptote. So in step number 3rd, we find out angle of asymptote. Here theta or phi, let's suppose phi is the angle of asymptote. Say angle of asymptote phi q, let's suppose phi q is equal to 2q plus 1 multiplied by 180 degree divided by number of poles minus number of zeros. So this is the basic formula where the value of q start from 0, 1, 2 up to p minus z minus 1. So now for this question, because q is equal to 0, 1, 2 up to p minus z. So see in step number 2nd, p minus z is equal to 4. So 4 minus 1. So it means q is equal to 0, 1, 2 and 4 minus 1 is 3. Right? So we have to find out phi q. So phi 0, phi 1, phi 2 and phi 3. So phi 0. So 2 multiplied by q is 0. So 0 plus 1 multiplied by 180 degree divided by p minus z, and p minus z is 4. So this is 2 multiplied by 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1 multiplied by 180 degree, that is 180 degree divided by 4. So that is 45 degrees. So this is one angle of asymptote. The second one is 2q. Q is 1 plus 1 multiplied by 180 degree divided by 4. So we will find out 2 plus 1, 3 multiplied by 180 degree divided by 4. So it is 45 multiplied by 3. So that is 135 degree. The next one is 2, and now the q value is 2. So 2 multiplied by 2 plus 1 multiplied by 180 degree divided by 4, and we will find out 225 degree. Then 2q, q is 3 now, plus 1 multiplied by 180 degree divided by p minus z, that is again 4. So it will be 315, right? 315 degrees. So these 4 are the angle of asymptote. Now we find out step number 1st answer, step number 2nd answer, and step number 3rd answer. Step number 3rd is angle of asymptote. Now we have to find out the 4th number of step, that is your centroid, the calculation for centroid. So there is a basic formula to find out the centroid. Centroid is denoted by sigma, and it is equal to summation of all the real part of poles minus summation of all the real zeros divided by number of poles minus number of zeros. So this is the basic formula to find out the centroid of the question of any root locus. I again repeat, centroid is equal to summation, means sum of all the real poles minus sum of all the real zeros divided by total number of pole minus total number of zero. So here see, my pole is, the first pole is at 0, the second pole value is minus 4, the third pole value is minus 2 plus 4j, but here the real part is only minus 2, and the fourth pole is minus 2 minus 4j, but here the real part of that is only minus 2. This 4j and j or iota denoted for imaginary part. So centroid for this question is summation of sum of all the poles. So first pole is at 0, second pole is at minus 4, third pole is at minus 2, plus 4j, but we do not write down plus 4j because plus 4j is for imaginary. The last pole is at minus 2 minus 4j, but we only write down minus 2 because minus 4j is the imaginary part. Minus sum of all the real zeros, but in this question there is no zero, so this is 0. Divided by pole, total number of pole. Total number of pole is 1, 2, 3, 4, minus total number of 0, but there is no 0, so 0. So this is sigma is equal to 4 plus 2 plus 2. So minus 8 divided by 4. So minus 2 is my centroid. So the answer of this third step is centroid at minus 2. Now we will find out the step number 5th. Step number 5th is to find out the valid breakaway point. Now this is an important step. To find out the breakaway point, we will write down 1 plus gs hs equal to 0, and then we will find out the breakaway point. Now the step number 5th, that is breakaway point. Here we will find out a valid breakaway point. To find out the breakaway point, we will write down 1 plus gs hs equal to 0. Now in the question, it is given that GSHS is equal to K divided by S plus 4, S square plus 4S plus 20. So we will write down 1 plus K divided by S plus 4, S square plus 4S plus 20, and that is equal to 0. So now see this, what is this? Now to find out S multiplied by S plus 4, that is S square plus 4S, and it will be multiplied further with S square plus 4S plus 20. As a result, we will find out S raised to the power 4 plus 8S cube plus 36S square plus 80S. That is equal to 0. That is equal to 0. Okay. Now this S4, this total denominator term will be multiplied by 1 and then add with K. So we will find out S4 as a solution of this mathematical solution, 8S cube plus 36S square plus 80S plus K is equal to 0. So with this we will find out the value of K, and this value of K is equal to minus S4 minus 8S cube minus 36S square minus 80S. Now after finding in breakaway point, first of all we will find out 1 plus GSHS equal to 0. With the help of this we will find out the value of K. After finding the value of K, we have to find out dk upon ds equal to 0. So now differentiate this with respect to S. So this S4 will be differentiated as 4S cube, then again minus sign. This S cube will be differentiated, so 3S squared, so multiply by 8, that is 24S square. This S square will be converted into 2S by differentiation. 36 is also there, so 36 multiplied by 2S, that is 72S. Then S differentiation with respect to S is 1, so this is only 80. So now we have to put dk upon ds equal to 0. I again repeat, to find out the breakaway point, first of all we should find out the value of K with the help of 1 plus GSHS equal to 0. So here we will find out the value of K. After finding out the value of K, finding out dk upon ds, so we differentiate with respect to S, so we will find out dk upon ds, then put dk upon ds equal to 0. So here we put dk upon ds equal to 0. So this minus will be converted into plus, because at the right hand side there will be a 0. So 4S cube plus 24S square plus 72S plus 80 is equal to 0. Now we have to find out the value of K. If this fourth term will not present, then we will easily find out. If this term is not present, only 3 terms are present, then with the help of minus b plus minus under root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a, we will easily find out. But here to find out the value of S, we have to use hit and trial method. With the help of hit and trial method, by putting out different value of S, we have to find out this is equal to 0. Now first of all we put S equal to minus 0.5. So now we will check. This is minus 4, then S cube. So minus 4, then minus 0.5 cube, then minus 24 and minus 0.5 square, minus 72 minus 0.5 and then minus 80. But this is not equal to 0. So we cannot use S equal to minus 0.5. Now we put S equal to minus 1. So we see 4, then S cube, here all are plus. Okay, in this equation we have to put. Okay, so 4, then S cube, so minus 1 cube, plus 24, S square, so minus 1 square, plus 72, so minus 1 plus 80 equal to 0. But this is not equal to 0. We just find out with the help of calculator, but this will be not equal to 0. Now we have to put, so we will not use this one. This work will be in rough work. This is rough work. So S equal to, we put S equal to minus 2. Now see 4, then minus 2 square, minus 2 cube, plus 24, then minus 2 square, plus 72, then minus 2, plus 80. Now we will find out minus 2 cube, that is 8. So minus 8. So minus 4 multiplied by 8. Plus 24 multiplied by minus 2 square is 4. Plus 72 multiplied by 2, that is minus 144. plus 80. So this will be equal to 0. Okay. So now this s equal to minus 2 is correct value. It means s plus 2, it means s plus 2 is my one coefficient. So what are the rest of the coefficients? We will find out. Now we have s plus 2. What was my equation? That is 4s cube plus 2, 24s square plus 72s plus 80. Okay. Now we will do one more thing, because in all these terms, because 4 is common, so we have to put the common value. So s cube plus 6s square plus 18s plus 20 equal to 0. Okay. Now we put s equal to minus 0.5, minus 1 and minus 2. One more time, you just see. I just cancel out this one. You can do this also, but you can also simplify this one. So see, my equation is s cube plus 6s square plus 18s plus 20 equal to 0. First I put s equal to minus 0.5, but this equation is not equal to 0, so I cannot use this. Then I put minus 0.1, but this equation is not equal to 0, so I cannot use. But when I put s equal to minus 2, now see, minus 2 cube plus 6 minus 2 square plus 18 minus 2 plus 20 equal to 0. Okay. So this will be minus 8 and plus 6 multiplied by 4, 24, minus 18 multiplied by 2, that is 36 plus 20. So see, 24 plus 20, that is 44, and 36 plus 8 is also 44. So this will be equal to 0. It means s equal to minus 2 is my correct coefficients. So s plus 2 is my one factor. Now what are the remaining factor? What is my equation? Now see, compare this one with this one equation. I require s cube. So here I have s. It means I have to multiply with s square. Okay. Then this 2 is also multiplied by this s square. So that is 2s square. But I require 6s square. It means how many remaining? 4s square is remaining. So I use 4s only, because this s when multiplied by 4s, then this will be 4s square. So 2s square plus 4s square, that will be equal to 6s square. Now this 2 also multiplied by this 4s, so it will be 8s. But what I require? I require 18s. I require 18s. So how many remaining? 10 is remaining. So I just write down 10. So when this s will be multiplied by this 10, then 10s, and that before 8s. So 8s plus 10s, that is equal to 18s. Now this 2 also multiplied by this 10 and will complete this equation by 20. So this is equal to 0. So now these two equations are there. So what are the breakaway points? This s equal to minus 2 is a breakaway point. Now this s equal to minus b. So minus 4 plus minus root of b square, that is 16 minus 4 multiplied by 1a multiplied by c divided by 2a. So I will find out s equal to minus 4 plus minus root of minus 24 divided by 2. It means s equal to minus 2 plus 2.45j and plus minus 45j. It means s equal to minus 2 plus 2.45j is my again one coefficient, and minus 2 minus 2.45j is my one more coefficient. So now I find out which one is the Now I find out which one is among these three breakaway point, which one is the valid breakaway point. To find out the valid breakaway point, I have to draw a rough pole zero diagram, and I just check by putting my hand at these values and see that at the right hand side there should be odd number of total number of poles and zeros. If odd number of poles and zero at the right hand side, it means this is a valid breakaway point. If not, then that is not a valid breakaway point. So now check. So I find out s equal to minus 2, s equal to minus 2 plus 2.45g, and s equal to minus 2 minus 2.45g. Okay. So I just draw a rough pole zero diagram. So my poles was at s equal to 0, s equal to minus 4, s equal to minus 2 plus 4j, and s equal to minus 2 minus 4j. So now I draw a rough pole zero diagram, because there is no 0, only poles are there. S equal to 0, so this is s equal to 0 pole. Now s equal to minus 4, so let's suppose this is minus 1, this is minus 2, this is minus 3, and this one is minus 4. So s equal to minus 4 is my second pole. The third pole is minus 2 plus 4j, so s equal to minus 1, minus 2 is this, minus 2 plus 4j, so this is j, this is j2, this is j3, and this is j4. So minus 2 plus 4j, it will be like this one. And minus 2 minus 4j, so minus j, minus 2j, minus 3j, minus 4j. So the points will be meet. So these are 4 poles. Now I check these points. So s equal to minus 2. So where is minus 2? Minus 2 is here. So at the right hand side of this, only 1 0 is there. It means it is a valid breakaway point. It is a valid breakaway point. Now I check s equal to minus 2 plus 2.45j. So see, s equal to minus 2 is here and minus 2.45j is, this is 2 is maybe here. This is plus 2.45j. Now see at the right hand side. So at the right hand side only one pole is there. Only one pole is there. So this is also a valid breakaway point. Okay. And similar to this is also valid breakaway point. So all the three are valid breakaway point. All the three are valid breakaway point. Now, after this fifth number step of finding out the breakaway point, we will start our sixth number step of this question, that is intersection with the root locus, where the root locus will intersect with the imaginary axis. So intersection of imaginary axis with root locus. So now see, this is step number 6, that is intersection of root locus with imaginary axis. For this, we have to find out once again 1 plus GSHS equal to 0. Then we will use Routh-Hurwitz criteria. So 1 plus GSHS as it is given as s plus 4 s square plus 4s plus 20. This is my GSHS equal to 0. So as we will solve this, so we will find out s4 plus 8s cube plus 36s square plus 80s plus k equal to 0. Now we see the Routh-Hurwitz criteria. So this s4, then s cube, then s square, then s raised to the power 1, and at last s raised to the power 0. 1, what is the constant? 1, then 8, then 36, then 80, and then k. So as we know with the Routh-Hurwitz criteria, first of all we should multiply these two minus the multiplication of these two divided by this value. So 8 multiplied by 36. So 8 multiplied by 36, see, 8 multiplied by 36, that is equal to 288 minus 80 multiplied by 1, so that is 80. So it will be equal to 208 divided by 8. To divide by 8, so it will be equal to 26. So I write down 26. Now 8 multiplied by k, so that is 8k minus 0, here nothing, so 0 multiplied by 1, so that is 0. So 8k minus 0, that is 8k divided by 8, so it will be equal to k. Now here nothing, so k 0. Again 26 multiplied by 80, so that will be equal to 2080 minus 8 multiplied by k, that is 8k divided by this value, so that is 26. Now here 26 multiplied by 0 minus 8 multiplied by 0, so all are 0. So here this multiplied by k minus 26 multiplied by 0. So this multiplied by k divided by this. So we will find out k. Now with this, first of all just put this value equal to 0. 2080 minus 8k 20 divided by 26 equal to 0. So we will find out the value of k equal to 260. Now put in the differentiation equation, just first of all just make a differentiation equation from the above step. So 26 s square plus k equal to 0. In this equation, put k value we just find out. So 26 s square plus 260 equal to 0. So 26 s square is equal to minus 260. It means s square is equal to minus 10. So we will find out s equal to plus minus j to 3.16. So this is the imaginary axis point where the root locus will cut the imaginary axis. So we find out how to find out the intersection of root locus with imaginary axis. Just put 1 plus GSHS equal to 0. Whatever the equation you will find out from this, just do the Routh-Hurwitz criteria. And from the Routh-Hurwitz criteria, instead of just the value of k, whatever just above the equation is there, we put equal to 0 and find out the value of k. Now we put this value of k in the differentiation equation we just make from the above step. So 26s square plus k equal to 0. Now we put k value here and find out the s value. So that is j 3.16. So this is the point on imaginary axis where the root locus will cut. Now we will find out the step number second, that is the finding out the angle of departure for this root locus question. Now see the angle of departure step. So this is an important step. This is step number second is finding out the angle of departure. Angle of departure. Now how to find out the angle of departure? First of all, the angle of departure can be denoted by theta, and this angle of asymptote is denoted by phi. This angle of departure we have to find out is denoted by theta, and the formula first of all is 180 degree minus sum of all the poles, sum of all the angles from different poles on a imaginary pole minus sum of all the angle from the zeros on the imaginary pole. Okay, so this is the formula to find out the angle of departure. Now how to use this formula? First of all, just draw the rough pole zero diagram. So our question is GSHS is equal to K divided by S plus 4, S square plus 4S plus 20. So there is no zero, only poles are there. Pole at S equal to 0. So I just denoted pole at S equal to 0. Pole at S equal to minus 4. So minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 and minus 4. So S equal to minus 4 is the pole. Pole at minus 2 plus 4j and minus 2 minus 4j. So there are total 4 poles. So minus 1, minus 2. This one is minus 2 and J1, J2, J3 and this one is J4. So my pole is minus 2 plus 4j, and similarly here minus j, minus 2j, minus 3j, minus 4j. So here I will find out minus 2 minus 4j. Okay. So these are my 4 poles. One pole at 0, one pole at minus 4, one pole is minus 2 plus 4j and one pole at minus 2 minus 4j. To find out the angle of departure, we first find out all the angles from all the poles and all the zeros on this imaginary pole. And because this is just opposite, so whatever the angle we will find out here, just this angle is with opposite polarity. If this is positive, then this will be negative angle. Okay. So on this imaginary pole, we will find out all the angles from all the remaining poles and zeros. But here only the poles are there. So we will find out the angle. So we have to find out the angle of this one. We have to find out the angle on this imaginary pole, that is this one. And we have to find out the angle of this one. So this is a straightforward, so that is minus 90 degree. Okay. Let this one is my pole 4, this one is my pole 3, and this one is my pole 1, and this one is my pole 2. So I have to find out the angle from on first pole due to third. So I have to find out phi 13. So see what is phi 13, what is this angle? I know that this total is 180 degree. So 180 degree minus what is this? So I know tan theta is equal to perpendicular upon base, that is lump divided by Aadhar, you can see. Okay. So 180 degree minus tan inverse. What is the perpendicular? What is this height? This height is 4 because this is 4j. So what is this is 4 divided by base. So what is this distance? This is 2. So 4 divided by 2. So I will find out with the help of calculator 180 degree minus. Now see, shift then tan. So tan inverse 4 divided by 2. So it will be 63.43 degree. 63.43 degree. So I write down 180 degree minus 63.43 degree. So this 513 angle on first pole, first complex pole on due to this third pole, that is equal to 116.57 degree. So I just note down this one. Now I will find out the angle due to this fourth pole on this complex first pole. So that is angle on first pole due to fourth pole. Because it is straightforward, so angle is always 90 degree. Now I will find out angle on this first complex pole due to this second pole. So this is 512. So now I have to find out this angle. So I know directly tan inverse perpendicular upon base. So what is this side? This is perpendicular, this is base, this is hypotenuse, right? So perpendicular divided by base. So what is this height? This height is 4 and this height is 2. Minus 2 and minus 4. So what is the distance? 2. So 4 divided by 2. So this will be equal to 63.43 degree. Okay. There is no zero in this question, so no need to find out the angle on this complex pole. Okay. So what is my angle of departure? So angle of departure is 180 degree minus sum of all the poles angle on that complex pole. So one angle is 116.57 degree plus 90 degree plus 63.43 degree. So these all are summation of phi p. Now what is summation of all the angle from zeros on that complex pole? There is no zero, so this is 0 degree. So what is this? Theta is equal to 180 degree minus, now I just add these three, 116.57 plus 90, so plus 90 plus 63.43. So that will be equal to, one again, 116.57 plus 90 plus 63.43. So this will be equal to 270. So 270. So what is the answer? So angle of departure on this first pole is minus 90. Similarly, so I find out angle of departure as minus 90 degree. Okay. Now, if here the angle of departure is minus 90, it means what is here angle of departure? That is plus 90. So minus 90 and plus 90 are my angle of departure. So now we complete all the 7th step. Now remember one thing. If the root locus question is such that in that question if no complex pole is there, then there is no need to do step number 2nd. Because step number 2nd is angle of departure step, and it is only valid for those questions in which complex pole or complex zero is present. Otherwise this step is not valid. Okay. Now with the help of all the answers of this 7th step, we will in last step we have to draw the root locus. So now we draw the root locus and will complete the question. Now see how to draw the root locus. First of all, just write down or just draw the poles. So we know that one pole is at s equal to 0, one pole minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and let's suppose this is minus 4. So one pole is at s equal to minus 4. So because this is final question, so I just use large area. So this is, let's suppose, minus 1, this is minus 2, this is minus 3, and let's suppose this is minus 4. Okay. So one pole at s equal to minus 4. One pole at minus 2 plus 4j, so minus 2 is here, and one j, j1, j2, this is j1, j2, j3, and j4. Okay, this is 4j, and similarly here, let's suppose this is minus 4j. So one pole at minus 2 plus 4j, so here is a pole, and minus 2 minus 4j, so this is a pole. Okay, now we have to put, where is my centroid? So my centroid is at minus 2. So this is a point of centroid. Now with the help of centroid, we have to draw all the angle of asymptote and just write down dashed lines over there. So one is at 45 degree. So when I put a D, then definitely it will be like this one. 45 degrees like this one. Then one angle is 135 degree. So 135 degree is like this one. One angle is, one angle of asymptote is 225 and one is 315. So here 225 is maybe like this one. The angle from this side to this side, this is 180 plus this angle, so 45. So 180 plus 45 is 225, and the last one is 315 degrees. So this angle of asymptote angle is this one. Okay. Now I have to put the breakaway point. So one breakaway point is minus 2, one breakaway point is at, wait, I just connect these two. Okay, one breakaway point is at minus 2 plus 2.45 G. So minus 2 is this one, and minus this is J, this is J2, and in between J2 and J3 there is a point. Suppose this is 2.45 G. Okay, so the point which made these two, this is also breakaway point. This is my breakaway point. One centroid and breakaway point is similar in this question. Okay, so one breakaway point at minus 2, one breakaway point at minus 2 plus 2.45 J, and one breakaway point is minus 2 minus 2.45 J. So let's suppose this is my one more breakaway point, and this is a breakaway point second, that is minus 2 minus 2.45 J. And I know that where the step number 6 answer, that the intersection of root locus with imaginary axis, that is J 3.16 plus J 3.16 and minus J 3.16. So I just write down, this is 4J, so J 3.16 is like this one, plus J 3.16, and here before this is my minus 3.16 G. Okay, now how to draw the root locus? From this breakaway point with the cut on J 3.16, that in between the asymptotes, the diagram will be like this one. And like this one. So this is the complete root locus. So I hope you understand how to draw the root locus. So there are 8 steps actually. First step is just find out number of poles and number of zeros from the question. The denominator term show you the number of poles and the numerator will show you the number of zeros. With the help of those, which one is greater, equal to the number of branches of root locus. The second step is we just do pole minus 0, whatever the answer. The total number of branches of that root locus will terminate at infinitive equal to the number of branches you find out with the answer of P minus Z. And the remaining branches, if remaining, then the remaining branches will terminate at open loop zeros. Step number 3 is finding out the angle of asymptote. Very simple formula, 2Q plus 1 multiplied by 180 degree divided by number of poles minus number of 0, where the Q value stands for Q equal to 0, 1, 2 up to P minus Z minus 1. The step number 4 is finding out the centroid, and it is very easy to find out the centroid with the help of the formula sum of all the real parts of poles minus sum of all the real parts of zeros divided by total number of pole minus total number of zero. Then the step number 5 is finding out the breakaway point. That is 1 plus, first of all we just put 1 plus GSHS equal to 0. So you will finding out an equation. With the help of that equation, finding out the value of K. Then find out dk upon ds. It means differentiate the value of K with respect to S. Then put that dk upon ds equal to 0 and finding out the value of S. If you are able to finding out directly the value of S, that is very good. There, and we will check the valid breakaway point. And if not, then with the help of hit and trial method, finding out the value of S. Now draw the rough pole zero diagram and see whether at that point the right hand side value of poles and zero are odd or not. If odd, then that is a valid breakaway point, otherwise not. Then the 6th number step is intersection of the root locus with the imaginary axis. In that step you will again do 1 plus GSHS equal to 0 and finding out the equation. After finding out the equation, just draw the Routh-Hurwitz criteria. Just draw the table of Routh-Hurwitz criteria, and with the help of that, finding out the value of K and put in differentiation equation the value of K and finding out the value of S. That J value, that imaginary value of S will be the point on imaginary axis at which the root locus will cut. Then the 7th number step is a special step. It is only valid for those questions in which complex pole and zeros are present. If not present, then step number 7th is step number 7 is not valid. Otherwise, we will finding out the angle of departure with the help of the formula. Angle of departure is equal to 180 degree minus sum of all the angle from poles on the complex pole minus sum of all the angle from zeros on that complex pole. So we will find out the angle of departure in only those questions in which complex pole or zeros are present. Then the step number 8, with the help of all those 7 answers, all those 7 step answer, we will draw the root locus. So I hope you understand. I Rakesh Jain from Gyan Vihar University. Thank you very much to see this video. Kindly like and share.